activity. The problems of environment are largely the effect of our consumptive lifestyles. If we want to make a meaningful impact, we all need to look within before we read the books of law. Friends, I have always felt that anything which is not sustainable cannot be called development. In our culture, development means बहुजन हिताय बहुजन सुखाय, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सन्तु, and लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु. Motives. Nature is pure. Hence, only pure intentions can keep it intact. We in India have a strong tradition of living in harmony with nature. We worship nature. We worship the sun, the moon, rivers, land, trees, animals, rain, air, fire. These elements of nature have been given the stature of gods in our culture. Moreover, in Indian mythology, most of the gods and goddesses are associated with an animal and a tree or a bird. Thus, respect for nature is an integral part of our culture and has been passed across generations. Protection of environment comes naturally to us. This strong tradition has been a guiding principle for all of us. There is a well-known Sanskrit saying, सर्व में शाम स्वस्तिर भवन्तु, सर्वेषां शांतिर भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णम भवतु, सर्वेषां मंगलम भवतु. Which means we always pray for welfare, peace, fulfillment and sustainability of all at all places and for all times. This is our commitment, not of today, but since time immemorial. If we remember this, follow this, and act accordingly, India could provide leadership in sustainable development. For example, the practice of yoga is aimed at balancing contentment and worldly desires to lead to a path of moderation and sustainable lifestyle. When I talk of yoga, it is not just its physical dimension. Yoga is very comprehensive. The idea of yam, niyam, pratyahar teaches discipline, austerity, and control. The problems we face in India today are not unique. Other civilizations have also faced similar problems and were able to overcome them. I believe that through our collective efforts, we will succeed as well. While doing so, we must ensure that we avoid contradictions between our need to develop and develop sustainably. Our culture teaches us union between the Vyakti and Samasti. If we become one with the universal order, there are no conflicts of interest. Therefore, my government is treating the challenge of adapting to climate change as an opportunity rather than a problem. We need to adopt the philosophy of yoga karmashu kaushalam. We must do things in a way that causes minimum damage to the environment. This is CuLture or a mastery. This is what I mean when I talk of zero defect and zero effect. I have written some of my thoughts on this theme in my book, Convenient Action, Continuity for Change. Friends, the rule of law dictates that no one can be punished for another's misdeed. We need to recognize that there are many people who are least responsible for the problem of climate change. They are also the people who still wait for access to modern amenities. They face the adverse impact of climate change more than anyone else. This includes cyclones, droughts, floods, heat waves, and rising sea levels. The poor, vulnerable, and marginalized groups have fewer resources to cope with climate disasters. Unfortunately, the present and future generations are also burdened by laws and agreements on environment. That is why I talk about climate justice. Moreover, the rules, laws, practices, and principles of one country cannot be applied to another uniformly. Every country has its own challenges and its own way of dealing with them. If we apply the same set of rules for all countries and for all people, it will never work. Sustainable development is our responsibility. I am confident that we can achieve it collectively. I am also confident that we can find ways for development which are in harmony with nature. We can find them along the road traveled by our forefathers. I hope the deliberations during this workshop will help in developing a shared understanding of these imperatives. I wish this conference a grand success. Thank you.